Hi, you guys. It's Acrylic Painting Monday. We're going to have some really fun painting a large hydrangea flower on a 8 by 8 square canvas. You could do it bigger. You could do it smaller. Might be a little easier to do it larger than smaller because of all the little petals, but I think we're going to talk about how to take a photo that's nice enough, and then how to make it more artistic, how to have a more painterly feel, how to kind of bring it into your own, so to speak. You often hear that about musicians where someone has made the song their own. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this painting our own by just not being slaves to a photograph. Okay, so and that being said, this is also what we call a premiere, and normally you'll see us on Monday nights at 5:30 Central Time from Texas, broadcasting, and we often are live. But John and I have filmed a number of premieres this month, and we're interspacing those with either things we need to do or travel plans. So hope you enjoy the show tonight, and we'll get right down to painting our hydrangea and talking about our moderators who we don't know who are here, but we know are going to be here. How's that?
Yeah, we know they're there.
So, all right. So here's the actual photograph of the hydrangeas. It was from a larger photograph. I cropped it to this, and I thought it made a nice square. And you certainly could just paint it like a normal painting and just do it just like this, and that'd be fine. Okay, so we've got like I say, an 8 by 8 canvas. It's got some gold gesso on it. I think probably John gessoed over something else. It looks like there's a little bit of texture on here, and that's fine. I've got Sorel transfer paper.
Using blue today.
Using blue today. I've tested it, so it is working. I want to...
That's important to do, because the other day we did an entire
horsey thing, and it didn't transfer at all. I thought I could see it. I couldn't see anything. I had to re-gesso the whole canvas to find a color I could use. All right, so that's probably not going to go anywhere. Let's take a colored pen, and we'll just put in our leaves like that. I don't think you really even need to trace this on. The stems we'll do later. Yes and yes. That could be working, yeah.
You've seen it?
Now, if you'll notice, look at these. Have you ever seen a 4-leaf clover, or you spent time in the grass as a kid looking for one? Somebody told you they would be good luck. These flower petals are based off a 4-leaf clover shape, and there's just a ton of them, and they all overlap in one flower. So that is the shape. We'll probably be doing this with sort of one stroke. I just want to kind of get this centerpiece where it's darker here. We know where the outline of this flower is, right? And we know that the flower is going to come kind of around in here like this. And there's a couple, petals that are important. They're not just all facing us; they're all kind of tucked into each other. So I don't want you to panic and say, "Oh, I don't know what to paint next." Just keep this shape in mind. All right, and we'll just come down over here and do a couple. That's the main body of this one, and then there's these kind of also rans down here. I like that, don't you? Also rans. So we hope you read our YouTube Gazette.
Hopefully we got one out on time.
Hopefully we have one out on time. And I'm hoping that we can include in the Gazette, because John and I are traveling, maybe pictures of John and I somewhere and something about the place and what we found interesting or something like that. Maybe we can take you with us. What do you think?
Ooh, I love that idea.
You want to come with us?
Absolutely.
So, well, you're coming.
I guess so.
Okay, so
you're not drawing in all the flowers.
No.
You're not drawing all the petals. You get the idea.
I just know that there's some here like this, and the rest I can kind of ad lib here. So that's basically what I've got. All right. And it's now let's talk about the colors we're going to be using. We've got the quintessential color mixing journal colors, and I'll just get our book out. If you haven't done one of these yet, if you haven't purchased the videos to make your own, this might be a good gift for yourself, you know, or maybe holidays are coming up, and depending on when this airs, and this would be a nice set of videos and the materials that you need to make it, because you want to improve your ability to mix colors. This is how you do it. This is probably my master thesis on mixing colors that makes it simple and easy. And then this is the color chart we're using for our for 2022, both in the Academy and on YouTube. Thanks to some comments we got back from you guys about how you wanted to have something a little bit more spelled out and simple, and so we said, sure, we can do that. So we've got phthalo green, we have dazzling purple.
Slide over a little bit to the left.
We have phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, a more ultramarine blue probably than phthalo. We've got a little bit of burnt umber. We don't have, or rather burnt umber up here. We are not using the siennas. We've got the cgallery light, cgallery medium, and yellow ochre. We've got magenta over here. We're not using luminous rose to my knowledge, and maybe a cadmium red. And then a buff titanium from golden. So those are our colors. And I just put the book away. There you go. Now, when I designed this painting, what I wanted to do was come up with something more interesting than just this black dark background, which is kind of depressing. So I spent quite a bit of time on this, and basically the background that I came up with, what I quite like, is here. I've got a damp brush here. Is a kind of violet purple. All right, and it's not just one color purple. So I'm going to take some ultramarine blue and magenta and a little buff titanium and mix that. A little bit more blue in it. And I've got a very nice soft purple here. And we're using a gallery wrap canvas. So the
you're going to want to paint around the edges?
We're going to paint around the edges too. I want to just paint this part first. Kind of pull our leaves in here. And, you know, if you don't sweat about mixing the exact same color each time. That's what makes this interesting. Maybe you want a little bit of more blue in it in one place and a little bit of more magenta in another. I think I've got a leaf here I didn't put in. That's all right. I know where that goes. We've got something here. A little bit of water on the brush, just a little damp, slightly damp. And now let's get a little bit more color down in here. And it's pretty on top of this gold underpainting. Gives it a bit of brightness. And let's see, I've got a little bit of a slight edge of a green here, but I'm not sure that I'm going to put that in. Maybe I'll allow for it. We can always cover it up, right? And let's do down in here. I wanted a little bit. I'm going to put some purple in here and then paint the flowers over it. I want this, and now here's some dazzling purple and magenta, because I want this pretty dark down in here.
We're going to add a little something to that dazzling purple.
Oil, not at this moment.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got that right in there, and then I think in the center here, I want something pretty dark. And maybe up in here. So now what I want to do is just take a tiny bit of water on the brush and go ahead and paint our canvas sides. And I think we need a little bit of that color. The nice thing about gallery wrap is that they make nice little gifts if you do a little small thing like this. And
they don't require framing.
They don't require framing. And generally speaking, usually the canvas is slightly, when they go to the trouble of making these, it's usually a little better canvas. Okay. I may put green over the top of this for a leaf, but I think I can just cover this up like that for now. And a little bit of water on my brush.
We're in a rare time to see Ginger use water.
I know, but I just need this to kind of smooth out a bit. And just go ahead and paint this edge here.
If you haven't had a time to subscribe, now would be a time to do it.
Absolutely.
I'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
It costs you nothing. Hit that little bell and let you know when we go live.
That's right. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I'm focused so hard on what I'm doing, I forget you all are even there. I'm just in my own little ginger world of painting something.
Now the painting's upside down for those who are keeping track.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it is. Yeah, let's see, I had it.
Keep going.
Keep going this way?
Yep.
No, this way. That's how I had it. Okay. Now I have Smurf fingers. Just, maybe we should title this, let's Smurf a flower. Become a Smurf, paint a flower. I don't know.
Smurfs were more of the blue variety.
Well, yeah, potato, you know what I mean?
Oh, I see. So blue and purple are the same now.
No, but,
Yeah, gotcha.
There's varying degrees of anything. Okay, so here's a little bit of extra color in here. And just a little bit of... Okay, so when you do something like that, let's get a little bit more precise on my reference here. You want to... Sure, I've cut in here enough.
For those that are asking about what brush she's using right now, it would be a Bristol-on Angle 3/4 inch.
Yeah, now hopefully by the time you're seeing this video, we've gotten our new website up with the brush guys. And
recommendations.
And on recommendations. The reason we like our new brush guy is the old brush guy sold out to the new brush guy just before COVID. And Sue's a lovely guy, and spent some time talking to him. And obviously he's trying to get his business to grow too, and so he's offered our members. He continued the offer of the 5% discount if you use my name, all one word, don't make a space between it. Ginger Cook and the brushguys.com. And you can find the Bristol-on brushes there. And if you're somewhere else besides the United States, I think it's $60 to ship to Canada, maybe a little more now. And then the last time we talked, it was $25 to ship just about the brushes anywhere else. So if you've got some friends, for instance, you might want to go in on an order in a certain place, and then
make it worthwhile.
Make it worthwhile to order something. Just a thought. But
I've even heard some people buy half a dozen brushes for Australia, and the shipping is still cheaper than what they can get down there in Australia. So
yeah, absolutely. That's what we've been told too. So I'm going to take a moment and dry this. John's got some great stuff to show you, and so we'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, and we're back.
All right. So we've got that. Now I'm going to think that was the brush I was using, but I think I'm going to just start a different brush. Something that doesn't have purple on it to start with, because it's hard to get those colors out. Here's a smaller Bristol-on, and we're going to do the leaves. Now I've got phthalo green, and I've got yellow, kind of cad yellow light. Let's see what we get here.
Ooh, a nice circus green.
That's a nice circus green for now. That's fine, nothing. But I want those tones. Now if I want to tone that down a bit, I can add a tiny bit of like 1% red to it. And you see how that just tones that right down. Just like a amount of red that's on a toothpick. And that takes that green down to a little bit better, or it's not quite so bright, right?
Not quite so circusy.
Yeah, we can always call that the circus green color. You can also do that with yellow oxide and those greens, because yellow oxide has what? Has a little bit of red in it. So you can sit there and you can say, well, here's my kind of outside edge of this leaf. Yeah, like that. Now, I want to put some other colors with that, but this is pretty damp. If I tried to do anything else right now, I would just start mopping up what I have. So this is basically my leaf underpainting. And we're just going to start here like that. Just 3 colors on the brush at once. And we'll just mix as we go.
Mix on the canvas.
Yeah, so mix as we go. Now what happens here on the side is that we come over here on the side and bring this leaf maybe over this way, like that. Say that's the shape of it coming. Like if we had a leaf and bent it over. I think bend it is a word. So.
There's a big word.
Yeah, but it's on the side there. That's okay. These plants have big leaves. I think we have one here that we want to talk about, and one up here. And again, maybe I'll just bring it down this way, like that. And then let's get another bit of paint here and do this one.
Basically, it's your first coat, first layer.
Yeah, first layer is all you're doing.
First layer on your leaves, blocking them in. Keep track of them. Don't let them get away from you.
That's it, right? Keep track of them. Don't let them get away. Be prepared to overlap them a little bit. Okay, well, something like that. There we go. And I don't really have anything coming out the bottom, but I could. And if I did, let's see, where did that trace thing go? That picture here. I could have something, but it would be so dark, I might put purple and green together and suggest that there's maybe a purple kind of darker green leaf coming out this way. Okay. Yeah, that kind of balances. See, that kind of cements this into our picture. All right. Now, when you paint across the gold, I would recommend not using gold. I would recommend using just yellow oxide or something, because the gold is really crummy to paint on top of. It makes an interesting effect, but it really is hard for the paint to grab it. So it's just a little bit more work than maybe you want to do, and it's going to require more drying. And if you get too much water on the brush, nothing will stick to it. Okay? That being said, we're going to just dry this one more time. That's the nice thing about doing a premiere, is I can dry as often as I need to. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not liking how this purple background is reacting on this on top of this gold at all. So, where are my little sponges, John? Do I have any? Did you put them all?
Yeah, they're in the rack behind you, though.
Well, I'll have to get them. So just stay tuned. Pause it here. So there's my little rack of sponges. You can use these again. I need just a little. I need some sort of little sponge, maybe that one, and you tear them up into little pieces. Figure out which ones you want. I'll try these. Okay, bye sponges. All right, because again, I just do not like the way this background, it just looks messy. It doesn't look nice. So
you're not getting the effect you wanted.
No, so that's okay. It's just, you just haven't painted this way before, and so I don't have it. So it's all right. So I got a damp sponge. I kind of wrung it out on a paper towel. I think I want to take a little magenta and a little bit of purple, blue.
Yeah, that's giving a nice effect.
I want a little more texture to it than I've got. Let's get some color that we can use. I want kind of a combination of the blue and the purple. And I'm going to go on top of the leaves. I'll have to fix these leaves. But, I would do this before you did the leaves myself, would be what I would suggest. And let's take a little white and see what we get. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, don't forget the edges.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of have it wrinkled up in my hand, in case you were wondering how I was doing this. So sort of a combination of blue and this purple. Oh my goodness, look at this whole long section here we've got. All right, so there you've got a little bit better um, I don't know, I like the surface a little bit better. Okay, now let's see. Something about like that, I think is some. Maybe I've got some dazzling purple. Okay, so that looks to me like a little bit better use of our background.
Well, it definitely looks better than what you had to start with.
Yeah, the other one just didn't go on very well, and it was just a little messy, and you're
Well, it didn't
thinking,
give you the effect you were looking for.
well, that was it. I sort of had an idea, and really, it didn't sort of. I had a very strong idea in my mind of what I wanted the background to look like, and we weren't getting anywhere with that. So there we go. Last of the paint on the bottom here, like so. So there's your edges. I don't like this white. Okay. And now I'm going to just put that little sponge in water, and I'm going to dry that, kind of rinse my hands. And then we'll go back to painting the leaves, okay? That's the plan.
Good plan.
Just get my tub of towels, which I think I put the kind of damp one here. Maybe can re-dampen it. Just kind of clean my hands off a bit here. So when you're thinking about, painting stuff like this, and you're being an artist, it's really hard to not paint exactly whatever colors in the photograph. Really hard to, because your mind says, well, it was blue. It's blue here. I should make it blue. So one trick you can do is to do a black and white photo of what you're painting and just paint the values, and then figure out how you want to play with the colors, what you want to do. I did several sketches of this in different colors before I came up with this purple background, which we're now going to go ahead and redo the leaves, and they should be all right now. Put a little bit of brown with that now, and just sort of tone those leaves down just a little bit of burnt umber, phthalo green. Just tap that on there, kind of the same way um, the uh, sponges were working for me. All right, so I want to come in here like this, and I know I want a light edge right here, and I've got a light edge there, maybe a little bit darker. Kind of something kind of darker right in here where that seam is going down the middle of the leaf. Now I got a little bit too close to the let's stick a little bit of purple. I want to get the green off the leaf and put some more of this purple in here closer to it, right in here. This does that. Okay. And I could get the sponge out, or I could just use the side of my brush here to imitate the background. enough where I can do that with the. All right, so I know that, for instance, I want, let's just take a little bit of unbleached titanium, a little bit of yellow, and I know that I want something a little bit lighter in here, and I'm holding the brush very flat, tapping that in. That's kind of how I'm thinking I'm painting it now. If I don't like it, boy, you guys, watch how fast I change it. I think that's the, experiment a little bit. Find some different ways to hold your brush. That's another good tip.
You see how quickly you can fix it.
Yeah. If you don't like it, I mean, it's not a big deal. It really just isn't. That one I wanted to come out to a little point here, like that, and probably a little bit more yellow on it. The point, right, like that. Okay, let's make this one a little darker as it's coming out of here. Remember, you still have your cheat sheet with your values. Take some white and yellow. Look at how much paint there was on there. So sometimes I see people using way too much paint, and I see how that happened to you. You were grabbing some off the palette. You got a big glob, and you didn't wipe it off. You doing that? Maybe. I like these edges light. Okay, got a leaf there, and until we do something with the flower, I appreciate the fact that this doesn't look like much. Just do. But that's come on, isn't there sort of the?
Well, again, you got to get through the ugly stage.
Maybe we should change the name of our channel to Ginger's Mystery Painting Hour.
Yeah.
And we'll be the mystery.
And then we won't even tell you what
we won't even tell you what we're trying to paint. We're just going to start doing this.
The strangeness.
Yeah, the Twilight Zone kind of thing.
Twilight Zone painting with Ginger.
Yeah. See?
I like that.
Let's just bring this leaf over here like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
It gives it a great effect.
Well, the leaves actually aren't too bad. The rest of it looks so terrible that it's hard to get your mind wrapped around the leaves. But you got to do the leaves before you do anything else. I need that light orange color.
Uh-oh.
Where did I put that?
Should be in one of your little containers.
It is.
You're misorganized now.
Misorganized, that's it. Candium orange. Why did I want that? I don't even know why I wanted it. I wanted it for something. What do you think that was? I don't know. A minute ago, I wanted it.
I'm sure it was important, though, too.
I said, do you ever wonder where you were? Well, that'll tone down a green. Nothing like it. You want a really nice, sort of soft. Here, let's just do this one.
That's the other thing. Don't be afraid to move your canvas around unless it's on an easel. We can even flip them on an easel to a degree.
Absolutely.
Make it comfortable on your hand.
Yeah.
Don't make your hand do weirdness.
And I just, Here we go with a little bit of that orange and green color.
Those leaves look really good coming over the corner.
Yeah, they like. Yeah, think that looks pretty good.
Yeah, great effect. You just need to continue them, getting your veins in there right and all.
All right, so let's come on over here to this one. All right, there we go. And if you're pretty happy with your background, then you can go ahead and put in your stems. We'll just do a sideways brush stroke once we kind of, okay. Next little layer of color. And let's see where else I can do something here. Let's see. Now I want to play with color a little bit. Take some phthalo blue and white. See, there you go. Let's try a little bit of the unbleached titanium and white. A little tiny bit of the phthalo green, white. Kind of this tropical blue.
Pretty color.
Wipe this off and I'm going to put a little of this on this brush, and then we'll kind of wipe it on this leaf right here.
Very effective.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not. It just
Just gives it an extra layer of color. A further dimension. See, now we're talking about the twilight zone.
Just to kind of, yeah, and then I want some darker green coming out of where these flowers are going to be. A little bit darker in there. Maybe some darker blues colors in here, and then something a little darker in here. Let's take a little bit of magenta, purple, and add a little purple. Okay, so we've got, that looks a little muddy there. Let's rinse the brush and then lighten up some of that green. That's the trick. If you see something that's looking muddy, just take the moment now to fix it. Let's see, I'm going to just take this around here like that.
Keeping the illusion
I'm not painting
alive.
it too much on that, but just a little, just to keep it going here. There, see, if I make that side a little darker, then this other one shows up, see? Do we have any leaf coming over the top? Well, you could. You absolutely could. So, all right, so we've got a little bit of that. Let's see, a little bit of this yellow and orange, which I want a little bit more of that here. A little bit of that color coming up this way. And I want the tip of this to be nice and light. Okay. So you see, we haven't done anything with the flower, but on the other hand, if you don't, we had to have something with the leaves, yes and yes.
It's good to get the hard part done first.
Well, I mean, there's some real pretty colors in here that need to happen, and that's a funny word, need to happen, but I feel like they do. As you can put a little purple on green, and it's real pretty. Look at that, just barely touching it like smoke. Little purple on that one. There we go. Okay, so that being said, I think we can work on the flowers now. So we don't want this brush. That's going to be too big for the size of the painting that we're doing. So I want a little tiny brush, probably something like this. This is a little tiny 3/8 inch brush.
Again, bristle on angle.
Yeah.
For those that are keeping up with it.
And the first thing I'm going to do is just start with my ultramarine blue colors. A little magenta in them. And I'm going to start putting in my petals. I think what we need to have is more ultramarine blue. It's not near any green. Do that. I think I need some darker blues. I think I need to have to come in here like this and do some darker blue and purple before I paint the rest of this in. This is going to have to be darker.
So basically you're laying down the shadow colors.
Yeah, I've got to put the shadow colors in these flowers before I can do the flowers. Here's some magenta. On this side, I want to go more reds and magentas. I know it sounds kind of funny, but that's kind of what we have to do. Now already it's starting to look better, isn't it, with the just having this covered up, this big gold spot.
There's another reason to have your green, your outside done, so you can keep track of where your flowers are supposed to be put back in.
Yeah, that's it. You had to have
just created a big blob.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if you don't have that,
You might get confused.
yeah. Okay, so then I've got that's where my hydrangeas go. And now the colors to the colors we picked in here make more sense too, don't they? These colors that we've got, and that, rather than
together.
just a dark green.
Now, there's a beautiful painting right there.
Well, I don't know if it's a beautiful painting, but
you talk about the ugly stage. I think you've achieved it. I think you're there, babe.
I think I've got the ugly stage done.
You got the ugly stage.
All right. Well, that's good to know, right?
Well, a lot of people throw in the towel then. They just can't take it. They can't get past it. It's hard.
Okay.
You think, what have I done?
All right. Same thing. Yeah, they're going to create a little shadow here on the stem right there like that. All right. So now I'm going to dry that, and now we're going to put in the flowers. Yes, yes, and yes. Shall we do that?
I think we should.
Okay. I think that'll get us far enough along on this. All right. So when you look at flowers, you can go, well, where do I start? Like, where am I going to start with this? Well, this flower's underneath that flower, and that flower's on top of that one, and this is way underneath everybody. Yes and yes? So if we started with that one just for the fun of it, right? Say down in here.
You have a road map, just kind of plop them in there.
And say that these are some flowers that are just here, kind of tucked away, yeah. And then we'll get some more here this way. I wonder if this would be a good time to get some zinc in.
Might be. I'll give you some lighter ones, without really changing the
colors too much and the values.
Yeah.
So see how I've started to just put in these little wisps of flowers. Okay, we're not talking about these too much. These are kind of the ones that were tucked under everybody else. These petals in the plant. Okay, I'm going to dry that. And again, this is fun for me and doing premieres because I can take the time to really dry stuff that needs dried. And John always has such fun things to share with you when I dry, so keeps you entertained. All right, so this is I'm going to take white and blue. Let's just get some of this white over where my blue is and turn this around. So I'm dealing with some sort of colors I want to deal with. All right. So I'm I think I'm going to start right here.
Now you can start to see why the darker purple's underneath.
Yeah.
It's the flowers below. They're in the shadows. If you have not pressed that thumbs up button, do so now. We'd appreciate it. And let YouTube know that you appreciate what we're doing. They hopefully will start sharing our work to other folks.
More than they have.
We're kind of like the stepchildren.
We're not going to keep creating that, are we, John? We're talking about that? Everybody loves us. Some people just don't realize it yet. They're finding out more and more every day. Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
To see how, because we're layering these things, you know what this is, you know what's not working for me is all these colors on this palette. I'm going to have to change palettes. Because I don't want to run into greens.
Not now.
I need to just scrape off some purple and magenta. I'm just going to put out some more color here, because when I dip into that, what happens is that it's awkward. Because I know the colors I want, and I'm not getting them. There's a little phthalo blue, a little ultramarine blue, down to the last of that. Wow, I put one all over the brush. Okay, and let's see, on white. Okay, so I need enough variety of the colors. All right, now I think we can, let's get some red in here too. That all by itself. All right. All right, so far so good, you guys? All right, so you see we're getting that there's the center of this one. And the thing about what we're trying to achieve here is the petals all are different colors. You know what I mean? They're shades of blue and there's light on top. So we're sort of building up on that stuff, right? So
slowly but surely.
Yeah. Like here's some. See if I can make that palette work. All right, so we're going to move on to this next layer. This over here. And say that we've got some petals coming this way. And you almost need new paint for each layer. Each petal almost needs its own little layer of paint. I'm keeping the blue ones kind of over on this side. Okay. And I want the pink ones as the next layer of flower up here. Remember the 4-leaf clover pattern. Some of these darker pink ones in here. Now what we have to do is dry it, so when we put the light ones on top, they work, okay? So let's try that. Now my brush is dirty enough where I should be able to just paint a few flowers in. On the top, see? So some petals are kind of, if you look at the patterns of them, some of these are sticking out underneath another flower. I think we've done these kind of flowers before, haven't we, John?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think I've showed you a couple ways to paint these.
This is probably the most in-depth one we've done with the 3 layers of flowers, 4 layers of flowers being built on top of each other. You're taking them another step, babe. Right there. You're showing them what it's all about.
Yeah, that's it. And it just, the more time you can dry. So where's that stupid zinc white? Why am I
It's
even
now
discussing
stupid
it?
zinc white. The blue used to be your buddy.
Yeah, I think in this case I want some of it, and I think I just put it away because I wasn't using it. Here it is, in a drawer where it should be. Okay.
Oh, that's just silly.
All right. All right, I want to dry this one more time, but you see we're getting the flowers in there. See what I'm talking about? We're getting that, and that's really important. All right, let's see what my zinc white does. lightening up some of these down here. Kind of gives it a ghost color without being as bright as the ones up here. We talked, yeah, I think white is a good ghost color. Because it allows the other colors to show through. Now, one of the things that we're, like for instance, I know that I want this petal to be lighter, but I still want that feeling of the blue. See how you can just use the angle brush to shape the petals? Now, if I take a little bit of yellow and white, not very much, and I want something brighter up here, I want you to see how much brighter that color looks.
It's a lot brighter.
Because it's on top. So when you're playing, you say, all right, so I want a brighter color here. And maybe some here that were showing up. See how you can just, yellow is an actually very interesting highlight because we're not really doing yellow as much as we're doing let's do a little more white here. Now, I really think this is a interesting way to paint something because, like I say, you've got your darker pinks under here, and I know in a couple places I want some darker stuff, and I kind of lost a little bit of dark in here, so I'll put some of that back. Okay, so you got to put your negative spaces back. Because if without negative spaces you have no contrast for your flower. Does that make sense? So then, as I look at that, I feel like we've got, could you bring some petals down here on the bottom? Sure. Just put a few. Not, most people won't see the bottom of a canvas, so I don't know that you have to, but put some over there if you wanted. But mainly, you're talking about the petals here. So if I look at this, there's just certain areas that need to even be brighter than I've got them. Does that make sense? So I need some more contrast, which is maybe I need a little bit of darker green right here. Doesn't look very green to me. Okay, so that one is showing up just a little bit more. So again, you're talking about where there's a light, there's a dark. And I know I want a little bit more room between this leaf and my petals. So here's some white. Just had a chance to dry enough now where I can put in certain petals that are going to be lighter. Then we're going to go back with our negative space again. maybe erase a couple. It's okay, you know what I mean? You can take a bite out of a couple of these the pattern. It's very easy to get carried away with this. So I would say be prepared to take a bite out of the flower if you need to. Let's see, let me go back to my original photograph. Okay, now what I love about these flowers, okay, that I just keep playing a little bit here. Here's this petal right here. And here's this petal right here. And here's a petal right here. And I've got all these colors on the brush, right? I love the blue ones. Don't lose your four-leaf clover design. It's easy to lose it. You don't want to do that. But on the other hand, you don't want to overpaint it either. Does that make sense? So we're going to say that, put it on this side of the brush. And wipe the brush off and try it again because it's not bright enough. I want to say that this flower's ending more this way. And that we have underneath here some real dark. Okay? So that's it. We haven't put the centers in yet, but we've got a couple to put in. And some are, the pink ones are kind of underneath. The pink ones are underneath. The whiter ones are a little bit more on top. Okay. I'm going to dry this, put in a few centers, and I think we're just 99% done. Before you get, are you back? Are you going to still pausing? I tell you not to pause or what? What are you doing?
You've done drying, I unpause.
Okay, well, pause it again.
All right. Let's get some dots on there to give it a home.
Yeah. All right, now I'm going to come in here with a few little interesting colors. And let's do our blue dots, our phthalo blue dots. You don't need too many, just a couple, just to suggest that there might have been some flowers here. And for some reason, our mind will read that more as flowers now, because we added those.
Absolutely. It finishes the form. The mystery, the mystique.
It does.
Before, it looked like you had a bunch of just petals laying there.
Yeah, and you can take that. You can take a small brush and define a few petals if you want. If you feel like you need to define a shape, take a little white maybe on the brush and say, "All right, I'm gonna do this on this." You don't do them all, but just do a couple. Bring out a couple that are a little bit more realistic.
A little more defined.
Yeah.
And then that helps the mind, the viewer's mind, fill in all the other ones. You're tricking them.
Absolutely.
You're letting the viewer be part of the experience.
So again, I had that angle brush and was able to just by just doing a few things. You don't need to do much. You're just suggesting where a highlight might be. Again, you're not trying to redraw the petals. I'm just trying to get a few little lighter spots in places where I lost it. Okay. And I can use zinc white for like some of these. Just get that petal shape in a couple of places. These are the ultramarine blue ones. And you know what? They can have, this is what's so cool about these things, they can have colors coming out, their centers. I would say that that's pretty well defined, except for maybe right down here on this edge. Okay, tuck that one under there. Okay, so then this leaf here might be, let's bring this leaf underneath switch the palettes now. Let's bring this leaf underneath the plant and suggest it right like that. Still there, but see if there's anywhere we can put something, but we just don't have to do too much. Does that make sense? And a little green somewhere. Now the original painting was had the very dark leaves. Had the very dark leaves and the purple.
The original photograph.
The original photograph. And so I'm just trying to decide what, if any of that, I want. Let's see, I might glaze over this like that, so that it just comes off the. And do I want to pull some of this? That's glazing. That's where you just take the color and water and just decide if you want to tone back something. Well, I like that blue on there. Yeah, this is kind of where I get. People always say it's just almost done. I'll leave now. But this is where the magic happens, isn't it, John?
Absolutely.
To me, anyway, this is where.
It's what ties it all together.
Well, I really don't know if I want that blue, but that's all right. I think I want that dark green, but that's okay. So I'm looking at this going, oh, I see where I have to have something lighter. See, as I'm sitting here staring at this, I may be looking at that corner. I come over here and I look and I go, I'm missing a flower here. See? Or a flower here. Because I want to play with the contrast of the lights and darks, yes and yes. So that's the fun of this. And then I'm thinking I'm missing something in here like this that needs to be darker. Because that's where the real contrast comes up on these flowers. I mean, where do I want something darker? Do I want it something darker up in here, like this? Maybe I won't even talk about that stem, even though it was in the photograph. We won't talk about that stem there. I don't know that we need it. Just suggest a bit of a green leaf there. And the same thing with the magenta. Maybe a bit of red. Where's my contrast? And that's if there's wow, there's not so much interesting here. Is that word interesting here?
It is interesting.
It's just that's the word interesting, not interestinger.
That's one word that could be used to describe it for sure.
Yeah. Well, so again, there's just this temptation. So now we've got this, and I think this is sort of a fun. This is a fun piece. We could have brought this leaf kind of over the top here, just to make it that more interesting. Yeah. But for people that are watching this in second language, that's not a word. Well, I heard Ginger say it on YouTube. Yeah, well, don't know. So that's interesting, right? Let's just do something like this. It's not interesting, okay? Add you. Okay, and then this stem could be thinner. Yeah, yes and yes. Could there be a lighter petal right, maybe purple, but sort of a lighter one right here? With lighter than that?
I'd say that didn't look real light there.
Huh?
That didn't look too light.
No. Didn't, did it?
But once again, fixable.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay, right? I think that's the fun part of acrylic painting is the fixable part, right? That sink, I think that's not light enough. And I'm doing this because acrylics dry darker. I think I've got just the petal, or just the flower petal, and I go to put it, and the acrylics dry darker. Because for me, because what we need is contrast. There we go. Oh, don't you love the hydrangeas? I like them. They're one of my favorite flowers. People always say, "What is your favorite flowers?" I like hydrangeas. I think they're really pretty. I used to have some in Houston. They died from a freeze. I never replanted them. So, Little dots with the white centers. Okay, I'm going to call this one, I'm going to pronounce this finished. What do you think, John? I do that almost? How much time have I got in this? I'm just curious. I don't have my watch on.
You got $1.20 in it.
I always mean to make these so quick. How does that happen?
You can't make it under $1.
No. No. Why is that? I don't understand it. Just why is that?
Even though we target it.
We try, don't we? I look for the phthalo green.
Because you always come up with, there's just one more thing I need to do.
Well, I'm signing my name to it is the problem, right? So when you put your name on something, you kind of want it
to be somewhat right.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? There's nothing too staggering there, but you kind of want it to be right.
At least a lot closer.
Yeah. So, but boy, I think that if I were going to hang that on the wall like that, can you guys see that? I'd feel good about that. Maybe I don't like this little bit of light back up in here. Change that, but that's all right. You can do all that. But you see, that makes a nice gallery wrap piece. And then if you wanted to on the sides, because this side's kind of a little dull, you could go ahead and suggest some other flowers that might be coming this way from somewhere else.
And really fool them.
Well, I mean, you can, and that's the thing. You might sit there and say, okay, so you might just say that there were some, because why mightn't there be some flowers? Maybe there'd be more blues, but that's okay. Or purples, even. Let's see, we don't have any more purple. Well, we do now. There you go. But don't be afraid to, I thought the sponge helped a lot with the background. But I would say don't be afraid to...
I think that sponge saved the background.
Yeah, the background I wasn't feeling the background at all. And this is too light right here. See that right there? This really needs to be darker. Even though that was a nifty background, you guys. But this needs to be darker to balance out the... I like the purple color. I just want to keep the values a little closer to the original photograph. And for that reason, that because we absolutely want the contrast, yeah. And I keep looking for the green to fix this little leaf right here. There we go. There we go. All right. Well, you can have some surprise green, or even some surprise yellow, but don't overdo it.
Don't have too many surprises, then it's no longer a surprise.
Yeah, if you put it everywhere, then it's just pretty commonplace. Like, didn't we put that orange somewhere? Where did we put that? Oh, here. I love that orange color, right? And where could we put that? Nothing too scary. Just a little bit of that color is nice. Where else can you put it? That's kind of that's my thing.
Where else can you put it but not overput it?
Yep.
It's a fine line, folks.
Yeah, well, it is, John, and people, you're sitting there going, all right, so then where's my luminous rose?
I thought you weren't going to do it. That's what you said in the beginning of the show. I'm not going to use it today.
Well, I thought about that.
Probably have to go back to the beginning and edit that out.
Well, you don't have to do that.
You changed your mind.
This is I don't know. I kind of like it the way it is. I don't think I want to change it.
I mean, where were you thinking of putting it?
Add it to a couple of the pink flowers, but I think they're.
See, you've already got the orange as your surprise color. You start throwing the pink in, it's going to pull the eye away.
Yeah, well, I wasn't really going to do that, but there you go.
Just saying, my eye's going to be bonkering over several places now.
There. That's it. Okay, we're not doing anything else. I think this is sort of fun. You've got this, and I think that the purple is much more interesting than just an old dark green background.
Oh, absolutely.
And I like the light leaves.
And we even showed you how to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got something, and what are you going to do? Call Ghostbusters or just repaint it, right?
No big deal.
That's what they always tell you to do, is call Ghostbusters.
I'm not sure the Ghostbusters would help us on this one.
No, I don't think so. Do you?
I think we have to do it ourselves.
We'll have to do it ourselves. All right, so Hydrangea on an 8x8 canvas. I think gallery wrap canvas is pretty fun, very arty, and okay. So we're trying to, as we're doing these premieres, you guys. The last thing I want to tell you, if anybody's still hanging in there watching us, is that look out for our Academy website, acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com. You've already seen a few of the new paintings that are coming up in the ads, but we've also got a new page for kind of like our brag page on the Academy. And if you're you have to be at least a member of the Academy, right, John? Or no? No, they don't even have to be that.
No,
you can get to it without even joining anything.
Just to see what other people have been painting. If you're
a member of our Facebook club or the Academy, you might be on our brag page, and so look, check off it and look for it, see what happens. We may have featured you as one of our artists of that particular month.
Never know.
All right, so talk to you soon. See you later.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Ginger Cook, the queen of color, with a blazing brush at the speed of light, and a blank canvas, and a hearty yes and yes. The queen of color, Ginger Cook, and her sidekick, John Little, teach you to paint with acrylics.